transformation is going to take place. Is the circumstance different now?
Yeah, the circumstances are becoming different because the political changes, the presence of the country, the internationalization, or maybe the self-belief of Indians, everything is coming into play. We are emerging as a power, and it takes time. It cannot be transformed just like that. So right processes will have to be put into the place for that to happen, to realize everything which a 2022 mission requires. In my opinion, because I belong to education sector, I am a firm believer that education is the one which is the remedy or which is the pill for most of the transformations. We may be facing poverty, we may be facing ill health, poor environment, maybe other thing which may be substandard. But if we are able to use one single medicine for that, possibly it will be education. And I'm very happy to tell you that the country is believing in that. The country is going towards that. And GER, the gross enrollment ratio, which in around 2011, when the 12th plan was getting prepared, was hovering around 11%. That, by the way, is the number of students migrating from 12th to what you call the higher education sector. In less than 6 years, it has more than doubled. Today, it is setting around 24-25%. And not only that, the base has also increased. So people have responded to this kind of a change, and this will give them the position where they can achieve and conquer the world. And that's why today Indians are present everywhere, and they are excelling everywhere. The only thing which we possibly require now is those things which we were doing, but we are from within the country, and there we need a trigger. The product called Made, which is a global conqueror, started it in some, but it didn't succeed. But technology will be one big to make it, and we are all working towards it.
जैसे नैनो का पर देयर आर स्टार्ट्स, हमने जाके आगे सक्सेसफुल होगा और स्टोरी को आगे बढ़ाएगा, पर इट इज जस्ट वन सक्सेसफुल 22 के टारगेट रखते हुए ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कैसा होने भारत का
नेक्स्ट 4-5 साल 2022 अगर मान तो अब तक का ट्रांसफॉर्म नाम दे सकता हूं पेनफुल पीरियड में ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा। 2022 पे आप 20 लाख करोड़ बैंकों के एनपीए होंगे, तो वो फिर पेनफुल भी होगा किसी के। तो इसका जो पेनफुल फेज है साथ में चलेगा। क्रिएटिव डिस्ट्रक्शन का जो मॉडल हमारा इकोनॉमी का है वो टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ क्रिएटिव डिस्ट्रक्शन, जब दोनों चीजें साथ चलेगी तो नया पुराना खत्म भी होगा। और पेरिस की जगह हमने जब उसको रास्ता अपना उसमें आप परफॉर्म करने का रास्ता कुछ भी हो, जब यूरोप वैसे 2022 में वो आप 40 में तो कर सकते हो आप। तो इस विजन में तो अब तक जो किया हुआ है उसकी परिणाम आने वाले समय में हम देखेंगे डायरेक्शन उसका।
All right. Addressing that question of income inequality question when it comes to other countries looking at India, getting lessons from it. Do you think India is going to adapt? Because for a lot of the global players out there, global developing countries, could be a potential economic development. What is your view on this?
Before I come to this particular, I think I have to give little back because I have collected in figures. So the current population is estimated population as today is 1.34 billion. And if you are looking at the growth rate of population at the rate of 1%, it will be 1.4 billion, and in this population 65% will be below problem because the way now coming up, education being in the, I think there is
That is going to be
a very important question for us. Employment figures are the figure which I was the survey says that in unemployed are concerned 2011-12 it was 3.2. In 2012 it was 4.7. 2013-14 it was 4.9, and 2015-16 the figure is 5%. So employment in any case is in many cases increasing. I think this is a major area of concern for us, and that is why the scheme floated by the government with regard to skill development, it becomes very, very important for us, for all of us. Now the time is gone when people should be happy with a normal employment, that okay, you have done BA course, MA, and of course you are a person. I think the time has come when we look for the number of poor people who cannot afford education. Development all the more become important so that and get employment not only within the country but outside the country also, that we should generate this kind of feeling that here is the skilled worker available, and there are countries where those who are falling short of skilled labor. And we, because of our demographic setup, are in a position to provide that kind of environment where if the skilled people we are able to provide, probably they will be getting employment outside the country, and probably number of India's diaspora will also increase that way.
Absolutely.
And the kind of image which we are looking for India in 2022 world over, I think that will also improve. I am very optimistic about that. In case in the field of education we are taking the right steps.
I think, but we are in the hot seat in a sense to make sure that we at least hit this target. And speaking of seats, could I request the audience members to stay in their seats till the duration of the discussion? That would be fantastic. Now, continuing back into the conversation, Mr. Agarwal, Mr. Malhotra mentioned about the need for reskilling, the need for employment generation. Now, a NASSCOM study states that by the year 2022, 9% of jobs which are going to be created do not exist today, and 37% of jobs will need complete reskilling. So, to further extend what Mr. Malhotra has said, is it time now to create that culture of skilling and reskilling, continuous skilling of individuals in the workforce, rather than just stating that I finished my degree or at the max I finished my postgraduate and that's pretty much it?
So Gautam, my view is this, that, unfortunately India is not able to protect their businesses. And you take the example of, 3 large companies, not from US, from China, right, which is Alibaba, Tencent, right? Those are $500 billion companies, right? And our Infosys or our Flipkart, right, are struggling, honestly. After 20-25 years of your globalization, right? So why that thing, right? So I think, honestly, sir, with due regard to everybody, I think Indian government has not protected Indian businesses, right? And whatever, because if you allow Facebook, if you allow WhatsApp, if you allow Amazon, if you allow Uber, right? They have more muscle power, right? They have more skill. They have more, in terms of strength of staying the business. They are there, right? So, and unfortunately, we are not. So, if you even train your people, where you will deploy?
But the question is, you need to train your people, right? Because if an Uber or all these guys come in, they'll say we already have, skilled people.
So, if your startups of last 10 years are not taking scale, if Flipkart is not going everywhere in the world, if Snapdeal is not going anywhere in the world, or your Ola is not going anywhere in the world, or your banks are not going everywhere in the world, why and where they want to hire it, right? So somebody asked me in my own roadshow of bank that, if RBI allows Alibaba to start a bank, and they start with $10 billion of fund just to undercut the rate, what will happen to this industry? Right? So what happened now, I think that the onus goes to government actually, because they are the policy makers, right? They have to pick the sectors, they have to pick the companies, they have to pick the entrepreneurs and back them for next 20, 30, 40 years, because 1.34 billion people becoming 1.5, 1.7 in next 20 years is a reality, right? You need businesses, you need people, and unfortunately we are over-voice kind of democracy, right? We are not thinking for 20 years here. So GST coming in last only I think 2 quarters happened, and you are here in a cry, right? So in my opinion, we are into very, very dangerous position in my opinion, because businesses need protection.
Okay.
Right? And if business will only develop, then only this skill will come. So I don't know what NASSCOM is talking about. They are talking about maybe the US.
So NASSCOM is the study was broad, covering various sectors,
right,
which includes your, in the financial services sector as well, not just technology.
So in my opinion, last 4 years, the technology, the telecom, and the startup lost so many jobs, right?
Okay.
Lost so many jobs, right? Where you need reskilling once you looking for 22, right? In my opinion, you have to protect business first.
Okay.
And then look for the skills.
All right. Now, I want to shift focus to another aspect of this jobs debate, which is...
Can I also add something?
Sure, you can.
I think I belong to technology, I belong to telecom also, and certainly it's a knowledge economy, knowledge society, and a lot is changing, and there was a talk about or point about skilling or learning. In this domain where the knowledge is changing very fast, I think learning, unlearning and relearning becomes important, and that would be true for skilling also, that you skill yourself, reskill or unskill, everything will go, and it becomes a lifelong learning, and that's why we are together. We are here to learn from each other, and that's a concept with which all of us will have to work. That's the real challenge we have to face. Let me tell everyone plainly and simply that maybe 20, 30 years back, the banking sector did not have much of technology, it did not affect them. But today, if banking sector is not having the technology, they'll be kind of walking on the road simply, they'll not be moving very fast. So technology has to be given its due, and what is happening in the country is something very, very abysmal in the sense that we don't know where we are going. The entire world, particularly the Western world, knows what are the grand challenges and the technological challenges on which they are going to work. Today in India, have you ever heard of a grand challenge in technology? Day before yesterday, we were discussing it in Bangalore, by the way, as amongst educational institutions. But as a country, we do not know where we are going. And that point which we are discussing was also with the help of the US counterparts, that they are trying to help evolve our grand challenges. So that is the dichotomy we have. We have the regulatory agencies, because we talked about governance. Regulatory agencies are there. They regulate only in terms of minimum standards and that danda, rather than providing what country needs. How many engineers, how many technologists of what kind will need. NASSCOM might have easily said 9% changes will happen. Have they been able to really measure and predict and define what kind of those 9% changes will come?
Okay.
And therefore, those studies to some extent are slightly superficial. We need to do a deeper introspection of all these points.
All right. And Mr. Malhotra, I mean, you've been in the corridors of power. So do you think a comprehensive employment policy is the need of the hour as a panacea of all the issues that have been raised here? Do you think government again needs to take an initiative? Because there are murmurs that there could be a comprehensive employment policy coming up, not confirmed. But do you think the initiative again needs to come from the government here?
We definitely need a comprehensive employment policy, but before coming to that, when we are talking about the governance issues, and we were talking of the corporate governance, I think governance issue has to be seen not only from the point of view of the corporate world, but from the point of view of the government also.
Okay.
Because on the government side also, always it is being said that corruption is a very big issue, which needs to be tackled, and steps have been taken in that direction. But whether result is seen on the ground level or not is a big question. And on that count, I think I agree with Mr. Agarwal that probably it is a difficult target which we have to achieve.
Okay.
Secondly, and the kind of red tapeism which there is in the government. Of course, so far as the technology is concerned, by use of technology, interface is being removed so that there is less of red tapeism and less of corruption, because once there is no interface and through system you can do everything, probably some improvement can be brought, but it is still not seen light of the day. And then of course we have this criminalization of politics, on which the recent steps have been taken. Now I'll just share with you, because this is the latest thing which came in the paper. There's some courts, 12 courts have been constituted to try the
fast track cases.
To fast track it. Let me share with you, in the March 2010, the Supreme Court passed an order saying that all cases pending against the politicians, wherever they are pending, should be disposed of within 1 year. That was in March 2014.
Okay.
When this government came to power in May, a decision was taken by the government, why can't we do it? Let us move in that direction. So the government was advised at that time, already there is a Supreme Court direction. After that direction, probably the letters were issued by the government to all the home secretaries of the states, to all the chief ministers of the states, and to all the chief justices of the high courts, drawing their attention to the Supreme Court order, that this Supreme Court order within 1 year it should be done. But what happened? We are in 2017. And still, today again Supreme Court has to give a direction when government says, okay, let there be a special courts which will be trying it. So the kind of time adherence which is prescribed even by the highest judiciary or by the law passed by the parliament is not being taken care of. And I remember finance minister in reacting in one of the functions, whenever the timeline is laid down for executive, court says it is mandatory. But whenever the timeline is laid down for the judiciary, they say it is directory. It is not mandatory. So I think this kind of scenario has to change. And secondly, more importantly, which I feel, and this is my personal view again, there is a big trust deficit between the corporate world and the government. When it comes to the government feels, no, corporate world generally feels that I should try to avoid the following the rules. And therefore strict law should be made. The recent trend which has come, and I'm sorry to say, some of the laws, more particularly the commercial laws which have been made, the kind of punishment which has been provided, was it really called for? Is a time where we should, I think,